You walk into a restaurant. The food smells amazing. The atmosphere is perfect. You are sitting there with a friend, let's say. Sam and John are out for dinner, but instead of enjoying the moment, your heart is pounding. Your palms are sweating. Why? Because the waiter is walking over and you have to order your food in English. You know the vocabulary. You've passed the tests. You studied the grammar rules for years. But the exact moment the waiter smiles and asks, "What can I get started for you today?" your mind goes completely blank. You freeze. You panic. You end up pointing nervously at a picture on the menu and mumbling, "This one, please." You feel embarrassed. You feel like a beginner. You feel like all those hours of studying were a total waste of time. Stop. Listen to me carefully. It is not your fault. You are failing because you are practicing the wrong way. You are memorizing generic robotic phrases from outdated textbooks. "Hello, I would like to order the chicken. Where is the restroom?" That is textbook English. That is fake English. It shatters into pieces the second you step into the real world. Today, that ends. We are going to use a real, dynamic, everyday scenario. Sam goes to a restaurant to order food with John. But we aren't just telling a story. We are breaking this exact situation down into a strict, actionable system. We aren't just learning words. We are learning timing. We are learning tone. We are building an unbreakable blueprint for real-world fluency. By the end of this video, you will never fear a waiter again. You will order with precision. You will handle unexpected questions. You will speak with absolute authority. If you are ready to drop the textbook, stop hesitating, and start speaking real English in the real world, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to work. You sit down at the table with John. The menus are handed out. What do you do? I know exactly what you do. You stare at the menu and try to build a grammatically flawless sentence in your head. Subject, verb, object, I, would, like. 2. Order. The. Steak. Please. You repeat it in your mind 10 times, 20 times. You think you are ready, but then the waiter arrives, and he doesn't say, "What do you want to eat?" Instead, he asks, "Any appetizers for the table to start?" Boom. Your perfect sentence is destroyed. You freeze. You panic. The silence gets awkward. The old way fails because it assumes real life is a written script. It isn't. Real conversations are unpredictable. They are fast. They are messy. If you rely on memorizing one perfect sentence, the absolute slightest change in the script will crush your confidence. Stop memorizing. Start anticipating. Here is exactly how you fix this right now. 1. Map the phases, not the words. A restaurant interaction is a predictable game. It almost always has 3 distinct phases: the greeting and drinks, the main order, the check. Stop worrying about the exact words. Know which phase you are in. When the waiter first walks up, they want to know about drinks or starters. Do not prepare your main course order yet. Stay in the correct phase. Focus entirely on step 1. 2. Listen for the cue. Don't just wait to speak. Most English learners don't actually listen to the waiter. They just wait nervously for their turn to talk. Stop doing that. The waiter will give you predictable cues. Can I start you off with? Are we ready for? Listen to the first 3 words they say. It tells you exactly what they expect back. Match their rhythm. Match their context. 3. Equip your stall phrase. You will get caught off guard. You will need more time. That is a fact. But native speakers don't freeze and stare blankly into space. They use stall phrases. Instead of saying, "Oh," and panicking, look up at the waiter and calmly say, "Could we just have 1 more minute, please?" Or turn to John and say, "What are you thinking, John?" It buys you time. It sounds incredibly natural. It gives you immediate control. Why this step changes everything. It shifts you from playing defense to playing offense. You are no longer a victim waiting to be tested by a waiter. You are actively managing the interaction. You control the pace. You own the moment. You survived the drink order. The waiter walks away. Now you and John are staring at the main menu. You know what you are hungry for. But how do you actually verbalize it? I will tell you what 90% of English learners do. When the waiter comes back, they point nervously at the page, look down, and say, "I want the chicken," or worse, "Give me the chicken." The old way fails because it makes you sound completely robotic. Sometimes it even makes you sound unintentionally rude. You do not want to sound like a beginner reading a phrasebook. You want to sound like a confident adult having dinner with a friend. When you use rigid, unnatural phrases like "I want," you remind yourself that you are just a student. You break your rhythm. You shatter your confidence. Stop sounding like a textbook. Start commanding your order like a native. Here's the exact formula. 1. The "I'll have" gold standard. Erase "I want" from your vocabulary right now. Never use it to order food again. Replace it entirely with "I'll have." I'll have the roasted chicken. I'll have the steak. It is smooth. It is polite. It is the absolute, undisputed standard for ordering in spoken English. Master this single chunk of language and your fluency instantly upgrades. 2. The go with variation. Want to sound effortlessly natural? Want to sound like you have lived in an English-speaking country for years? Use the phrase "go with." Imagine John asks you what you are getting. You look up, make your decision, and say, "I think I'll go with the salmon." This is real English, not fake fast. Real fast. It shows you are actively making a choice in the moment. It is casual. It is powerful. 3. The pronunciation pivot. Menus are full of weird words, French terms, Italian sauces, complicated local names. Do not panic if you cannot pronounce charcuterie. Listen to me. Native speakers cannot pronounce these words half the time either. Stop stressing over perfection. If you are stuck, simply point and use the pivot. "I think I'll try this dish right here." Or, look directly at the waiter, smile, and ask, "How do you pronounce this one?" Own the moment. Do not hide from it. Why this step changes everything. It removes the pressure of being grammatically perfect. By replacing robotic demands with natural, native-level chunks, you stop sounding like a nervous student passing a test. You sound like a confident speaker making a choice. You blend in immediately. You did it. You used "I'll have." You ordered the steak. You breathe a massive sigh of relief. You think the hard part is over. Wrong. The waiter doesn't just write it down and walk away. Instead, they fire back instantly. "And how would you like that cooked? Soup or salad with that? Would you prefer the mashed potatoes or the seasonal veg?" You didn't see this coming. The textbook never prepared you for the rapid-fire interrogation. You freeze. Your heart drops. You stare at John in a panic. You blindly mumble "yes" to a question that wasn't a yes or no question. The old way fails because it teaches you that ordering is a one-way street. You speak, they listen, end of story. Real English doesn't work like that. Real English is a rally. It is a ping-pong match. If you don't prepare for the return shot, you will lose your momentum completely. Stop freezing at the follow-up. Start mastering the details. Here is exactly how. 1. Do the menu math. Before you even open your mouth to order, look closely at the menu description. Does your meal come with a choice? If the menu says "served with your choice of side," do not wait for the waiter to ask you. Make the decision right now. Be ready. When you order, bundle it together. "I'll have the steak," and "I'll do the mashed potatoes for the side." You just eliminated the waiter's follow-up question before they could even ask it. That is advanced fluency. That is power. 2. The "come again" command. Waiters speak incredibly fast. They mumble. They run words together. Soup salad? When you don't understand them, do not just nod and smile. Never pretend to understand. Take control. Lean in slightly and say, "Sorry, what were the options again?" Native speakers do this every single day. Asking for clarity does not make you look stupid. It makes you look like a confident customer who knows exactly what they want. 3. The recommendation reversal. Sometimes the waiter asks a question and you genuinely do not know the answer. "Which dressing would you like?" You don't know the dressings. Instead of panicking, flip the script entirely. Turn the question back on them. "What do you recommend?" Or, "What's your most popular dressing?" This instantly takes the spotlight off your English. It forces the waiter to do the talking. It gives you a mental break, and it sparks a completely natural human connection. Why this step changes everything. It destroys the fear of the unknown. You stop treating the waiter's questions like pop quizzes you haven't studied for. You become proactive. You anticipate the details. You control the pace, and you flip the pressure away from yourself and into a real conversation. You see the perfect burger on the menu. You want it, but there is a massive problem. It comes with onions. You hate onions. In your native language, it takes 2 seconds to fix this. No onions. Done. But in English, you freeze. You overthink it. How do I say this politely? Excuse me, please do not put the onions inside my hamburger. It sounds ridiculous in your head. You worry the waiter will get annoyed. You worry you will mess up the grammar. So what do? You say absolutely nothing. The food arrives. You spend 10 minutes nervously scraping onions off your plate while John watches you. The old way fails because it prioritizes perfect grammar over simple communication. Textbooks teach you long, overly polite paragraphs for every interaction. Waiters do not want paragraphs. They are busy. They want clear, fast instructions. If you cannot customize your food, you are not fluent. You are just a passenger. Stop eating food you don't want. Start customizing your order like a native. Here is the blueprint. 1. The no and without bullet. Erase the long, polite sentences. When you modify a dish, speed is everything. Order your food, pause for half a second, and drop the modifier. I'll have the burger, no onions. I'll do the chicken salad without tomatoes. It is not rude. It is efficient. It is exactly how native speakers talk every single day. 2. The on-the-side shield. Sometimes you want the sauce, but you don't want your food drowning in it. This is a massive pain point for learners. Learn this exact phrase, on the side. Memorize it. Burn it into your brain. Can I get the dressing on the side? I'll have the steak with the sauce on the side. It shows absolute mastery of everyday restaurant vocabulary. 3. The substitute swap. What if the dish comes with a salad, but you want fries? Do not explain your life story. Do not apologize for changing the menu. Just use the swap formula. Can I substitute the salad for fries? Or, even simpler, can I get fries instead of the salad? Direct, unapologetic, clear. Why this step changes everything. It gives you total, uncompromising control over your environment. You stop suffering through meals you don't even like just because you are scared of the language. You start acting like a paying customer who knows exactly what they want, and you get it. The food arrives. It looks incredible. You take your first massive bite, but exactly at that moment, the waiter suddenly appears right beside your table. How is everything tasting so far? You panic. Your mouth is full of food. You realize your water glass is completely empty. You desperately need a napkin. But what do? I know what you do. You aggressively chew, give a panic-stricken thumbs up, and mumble. Good. Very good. You don't ask for the water. You don't ask for the napkin. The waiter walks away, and you suffer in silence while John watches you choke on a dry piece of bread. The old way fails because it trains you to be a passive participant. Textbooks teach you how to order, but they completely ignore the middle of the meal. You falsely believe that asking for something extra makes you a burden. You think perfect English means being completely invisible and never causing a fuss. Wrong. Real fluency is handling the messy middle of the meal. Stop nodding automatically. Start commanding the check-in. Here is your system. 1. The mouth-full mastery. Listen to me. Native speakers get caught with their mouths full every single day. Do not panic. Do not choke trying to spit out a perfect English sentence. Hold up one finger politely. Finish chewing. Swallow. Then speak. Holding that finger up commands respect. It shows you are completely in control of the pacing. Then, drop the casual confirmation. Everything is great, thanks. 2. The seamless pivot. Do not just answer the waiter's question and let them walk away. Use their check-in as your weapon. Pivot immediately from their question into your request. Everything is great, but could we get some extra napkins? Or, it's delicious. Actually, could I get a refill on my water? You link your answer directly to your need. No awkward waving. No yelling across the restaurant. 3. The respectful flag down. What if the waiter vanishes? What if John accidentally spills his drink and you need help right now? Do not snap your fingers. Do not shout, "Waiter," like you are in a movie. Make eye contact. Give a subtle raise of your hand. When they approach, use this exact magic phrase, "Excuse me, whenever you have a second, could we get?" It is polite, it is highly native, it gets immediate results without sounding rude or demanding. Why, this step changes everything. It breaks the illusion that you are just a helpless guest in the English language. You stop being a passive observer. You start managing your dining experience like an absolute local. You get what you need, exactly when you need it, without a single drop of anxiety. The waiter sets the plate down in front of you. You look down. You ordered the medium rare steak. This steak is burnt to a crisp. Or maybe you ordered the chicken, but they handed you a plate of pasta. John gets his food. It is perfect. He starts eating. What do? I know exactly what you do. You pick up your fork, you force a smile, and you eat the wrong food. Why? Because the thought of calling the waiter back and explaining a mistake in English is absolutely terrifying. You don't want to cause a scene. You don't want to sound rude. You don't want to stumble over your words while John and the rest of the restaurant watch you. The old way fails because textbooks teach complaints like formal declarations of war. "Excuse me, I wish to complain about this dreadful meal." Nobody talks like that. It is fake. It is weird. It guarantees an awkward interaction. On the flip side, the old way trains you to just nod, smile, and avoid conflict at all costs. Stop suffering in silence. Stop eating food you didn't order. Start fixing the problem like a native. Here's the exact blueprint. 1. The "I think" cushion. Never attack the waiter. Do not point and say, "You gave me the wrong food." That is aggressive. It makes people defensive. Instead, use the "I think" cushion. Raise your hand slightly, make eye contact, and say, "Excuse me, I think there might be a mistake." It softens the blow. It removes the blame. It instantly makes the waiter want to help you. 2. The factual contrast. Do not over-explain. Do not tell a long story. Do not apologize for their mistake. Simply state what you ordered versus what you received. "I asked for the steak medium rare, but this looks well done." Or, "I ordered the chicken, but I think this is the pasta." Keep it factual. Keep it brief. Keep it completely emotionless. 3. The polite pivot. Do not just state the problem and stare at them in awkward silence. Tell them exactly what to do next, but frame it as a question. "Could I get a new one, please?" Or, "Could you swap this out for me?" They will apologize. They will take the plate away, and you will look incredibly confident. Why this step changes everything. It proves your English is strong enough to handle friction. You stop being a helpless victim of circumstance. You start demanding the service you paid for. And you do it with absolute class and native-level grace. You are stuffed. The meal was massive. You have half a chicken and a mountain of fries left on your plate. You want to take it home. You know you will want to eat it tomorrow. But how do you ask? I know what goes through your head. You try to translate the request directly from your native language. "Can I take this to my house? Please give me a bag for my dog." You realize immediately that it sounds weird. You feel embarrassed. You don't want to sound cheap. You don't want to use the wrong word. So what do? You push the plate away. You abandon a perfectly good meal just to avoid a 10-second English conversation. The old way fails because textbook English completely ignores modern restaurant logistics. It teaches you how to sit and eat, but it never teaches you how to leave with your leftovers. It leaves you feeling awkward, wasteful, and frustrated. Stop leaving your food behind. Start boxing it up like a native. Here is exactly what you need to say. 1. The working on defense. Before you even ask for a box, the waiter will stalk your table. They will point at your half-eaten plate and ask, "Are you still working on that?" This completely confuses learners. Working? You aren't doing a job. You are eating. But this is the universal native code for, "Are you finished?" Learn this phrase, do not freeze. If you are still eating, look up and say, yes, still working on it, thanks. 2. The to-go box request. When you are finally done, do not ask to take it to your house. That sounds like a rigid translation. Do not ask for a doggy bag. That is outdated. Use the absolute industry standard. Make eye contact and say, could I get a to-go box for this? Or, even faster, could I get a box, please? It is smooth. It is effortless. It is exactly what John will say when he wants to take his steak home. 3. The wrap it up alternative. Sometimes you are at a nicer restaurant. You don't want to pack the food yourself at the table. You want the waiter to handle it. Do not give them a complicated set of instructions. Use one simple phrase. Point to your plate and ask, could you wrap this up for me? It sounds incredibly natural. It hands the job over to the professional. It shows total command of casual dining English. Why this step changes everything. It stops you from wasting food just because you are scared of missing a vocabulary word. You bridge the final gap between eating and leaving. You master the awkward transition phases of the meal, making you look completely fluent, entirely confident, and totally at ease. The plates are cleared. The to-go box is sitting on the table. You and John are completely finished. You are ready to go home. But nothing is happening. The waiter walks past. You say nothing. You wait. 5 minutes pass. 10 minutes pass. 10 minutes pass. You start doing that awkward, invisible pen writing in the air gesture to get their attention. You look desperate. You feel like a burden. You mumble, check, please, when they finally get close, but it sounds abrupt. It sounds robotic. The old way fails because it teaches you to be completely passive at the end of the meal. Textbooks act like the waiter magically knows exactly when you want to leave. They don't. Waiters are busy. If you sit there waiting for permission to pay, you will sit there all night. You lose your momentum. You end the night feeling awkward instead of empowered. Stop waiting for permission. Start triggering the check like a native. Here is your system. 1. The will take command. Erase the robotic bill, please. Do not sound like a machine. Sound like a human making a decision. When the waiter approaches or when you finally make eye contact, use the absolute standard native phrase, we'll take the check, please. Or, can we get the check? It is direct. It is confident. It signals that the meal is officially over. 2. The no rush shield. Want to sound like you have spoken English your entire life? Add 2 simple words to the end of your request. We'll take the check whenever you're ready, no rush. This is the ultimate native level secret. It is polite, but it is a command. It tells the waiter you are leaving, but it shows you respect their time. It makes you look completely relaxed and in total control. 3. The bill versus check reality. You are probably panicking right now. Wait, do I say bill or check? Stop overthinking. Listen to me. It does not matter. In the US, they say check. In the UK and other places, they say bill. If you use the wrong one, the waiter still knows exactly what you want. Stop letting vocabulary paralysis trap you at the table. Pick one. Deliver it with confidence. Why this step changes everything. It gives you the power to end the interaction on your own terms. You are no longer trapped at a restaurant waiting to be noticed. You control the timeline. You execute the exit with perfect timing and absolute native level grace. The check arrives in that little black book. It sits right there on the table between you and John. Now comes the worst part, the awkward silence. Who is paying? How do you say, let's share the cost without sounding cheap? How do you say, I want to pay for you without sounding formal and weird? You panic. You try to translate directly from your native language. You look at John and say something like, I will give the money for your food today. John is confused. The waiter is staring. The tension is unbearable. The old way fails because textbooks do not teach you the social dynamics of paying. They teach you phrases like, how much does it cost? But they completely ignore how to navigate the money dance with a friend. You freeze. You overcomplicate it. You make a totally normal situation incredibly awkward. Stop making the bill a painful experience. Start handling the payment like a native. Here is the exact system. 1. The I got it power move. You want to treat John. You invited him out. Do not say, "I will purchase your meal." That is textbook. That is fake. Grab the check, look John right in the eyes, and drop this 3-word nuke. "I got this." Or use the ultimate native alternative. "It's on me." That is it. It is generous. It is authoritative. It completely shuts down the argument before it even begins. 2. The split it standard. You and John are just friends grabbing a bite. You want to pay your own way. Do not tell the waiter to divide the numbers. Do not pull out your phone calculator and start doing math at the table. When you look at John, just say, "Let's split it." Or, when handing the cards to the waiter, say, "Could we split this down the middle?" It is the absolute, undisputed standard for sharing a bill in the English-speaking world. 3. The separate checks preemptive strike. Sometimes you know from the very beginning that your orders are complicated, and you want to pay separately. Do not wait until the end of the meal to confuse the waiter. Handle it in step 1. When you first sit down and order drinks, simply tell the waiter, "Just so you know, we'll be doing separate checks." You just solved the step 9 problem before the food even arrived. That is advanced fluency. That is power. Why this step changes everything. Money makes everyone nervous. Add a second language, and it is a recipe for pure panic. By mastering these exact native chunks, you remove the friction entirely. You stop looking like a confused tourist fumbling with cash and start looking like a confident local who knows exactly how the game is played. The bill is paid. The cards are swiped. You and John are ready to stand up and walk out the door. But wait, there is one final terrifying boss level standing between you and the exit. The tip and the goodbye. I know exactly what you do. You stare at the receipt. You start sweating over the math. If you come from a country where tipping isn't normal, you freeze, panic, and leave absolutely nothing, accidentally insulting the waiter who just served you for an hour. And when you finally stand up to leave, you give a stiff nod, wave awkwardly, and shout a robotic, "Thank you for the delicious meal. Goodbye." The old way fails because it ignores cultural reality. Textbooks teach you the vocabulary of food, but they do not teach you the social mechanics of leaving a room. They leave you guessing. They leave you looking out of place in the final 10 seconds of the night. Stop sneaking out like a nervous student. Start tipping and leaving like a true local. Here is the exact blueprint. 1. The keep the change classic. If you are paying with cash, do not sit there waiting for the waiter to bring back $3 in coins. That is rookie behavior. If the bill is $40 and you hand them a $50, look them in the eye and drop this absolute classic. Keep the change. It is smooth, it is generous, it instantly finishes the transaction so you can stand up and leave. 2. The standard 20 rule. If you are eating in the US or Canada, tipping is not optional. It is mandatory. Stop stressing over the exact mathematical percentages. Stop pulling out your phone calculator. Just use the standard 20% rule. Move the decimal point on your total one spot to the left, multiply by 2, write it on the receipt, and sign your name. Do it fast. Do it confidently. Move on. 3. The casual send-off command. Erase the robotic, overly formal textbook farewell. Do not review the meal. When you stand up, grab your jacket and make eye contact with the waiter. You only need one natural phrase. Say, "Thanks for everything. Have a good one." Or drop the ultimate casual exit. "Everything was great. Take care." It is warm. It is effortless. It is exactly what John will say as he walks out the door. Why this step changes everything. It guarantees your last impression is just as powerful as your first. You don't end the night in a state of confusion or cultural anxiety. You exit the restaurant like a confident, fluent adult who knows exactly how to navigate the real world. You walk out the restaurant doors. The cool air hits your face. The night is officially over. You did it. You sat down with John. You ordered your food, you survived the check-ins, and you paid the bill. But on the drive home, you are completely silent. You are staring out the window, torturing yourself. Why? Because you realize you made a mistake. Back in step 3, you accidentally said, "in the menu," instead of "on the menu." You stumbled over your words when asking for the to-go box. You feel like a complete fraud. You feel like a beginner all over again. The old way fails because it trains you to grade your life like a high school English exam. Textbooks teach you that one grammar mistake equals total failure. They teach you to obsess over perfection instead of communication. If you keep judging yourself this way, you will destroy your own confidence. You will burn out. You will quit. Stop replaying your mistakes. Start owning the victory. Here is exactly how you rewire your brain for permanent fluency. 1. The did I eat metric. Throw away your mental red pen right now. Stop grading your grammar. Ask yourself one simple, undeniable question. Did you get your food? Did the waiter understand what you wanted? Did you successfully finish the meal with your friend? If the answer is yes, that is absolute victory. Real fluency is not about passing a test. It is a tool to navigate the physical world. You navigated it. You won. 2. The native amnesia reality. Listen to me very carefully. Nobody cares about your mistakes. The waiter forgot your tiny grammar error 3 seconds after you made it. John didn't even notice. He was just happy to eat with his friend. They are focused on their jobs. They are focused on their food. Stop punishing yourself for things no one else even remembers. Native speakers care about your message, not your prepositions. 3. The 48-hour repetition rule. You faced your fear tonight. You built a tiny spark of momentum. Do not let it die. Confidence is a muscle, and if you stop training it, it disappears. Do not wait a month to speak English again. Go to a coffee shop within the next 48 hours. Order a drink. Use the I'll have formula. Prove to your brain that tonight wasn't a fluke. Repetition destroys fear. Why this step changes everything. It stops you from sabotaging your own success. You stop acting like your own worst enemy. You start treating every real-world interaction, flaws, and all as a necessary rep in the gym. You stop chasing perfect English and you finally unlock real, unbreakable confidence. You have the blueprint. You have the exact step-by-step system to walk into any restaurant in the English-speaking world and order with absolute authority. But listen to me carefully. A blueprint is completely useless if you leave it rolled up in a drawer. Watching this video does not make you fluent. Action makes you fluent. You are still going to feel a little nervous the next time you sit down at a table with John. Your heart might still beat a little faster when the waiter approaches. That is completely normal. That is human. Do not run from that feeling. Step into it. Consistency is the only secret that actually matters. Fluency is not a magical gift. You just wake up with one day. It is a brick wall, and you build it one interaction, one meal, one coffee order at a time. Every single time you use I'll have, you place a brick. Every single time you ask for the check without panicking, you place a brick. Stop waiting for your English to be flawlessly perfect before you start living your life. Perfect English is a textbook myth. Real English is messy. It is fast. And it is waiting for you out there in the real world. So go out there. Sit at the table. Look the waiter right in the eye. Order exactly what you want. Command the room. You belong there. Now go prove it. I will see you in the next video.